These are 10 times Ned Flanders and Homer Simpson clashed. Homer wished that Ned's business would fail, but when it did, he didn't feel so good. When Flanders Failed opens with Ned announcing to his friends and neighbors that he's quit his job and that he's decided to open a leftorium, a place where he'll be selling stuff designed for left-handed people. He asks Homer what he thought about that idea.
It sounds like a pretty dumb idea to me.
Oh, well, I know it's a little risky.
Oh, Ned. So gracious. Maude comes over and gives Ned and Homer a wishbone to make a wish, and at first Homer didn't want to do it, but then Ned told him that there must be something he wished for.
Too far.
That's not very love thy neighbor of you. Homer wins, and he's really happy about it, and Ned tells him not to say what he wished for.
Otherwise, it won't come true.
Ooh, that would be a shame. Wasn't it?
What an awful person you are, Homer. The next day, Homer went to the mall and he saw Ned in his new store. He asks him how the business is going, and Ned says,
Oh, a little pokey, but things are gonna pick up.
I bet this makes you happy, Homer. That night at dinner, Homer was gloating about how Ned's store doesn't have any business. He said that he's glad to see Ned fall flat on his butt.
He's usually all happy and comfortable and surrounded by loved ones, and it makes me feel...
What? Unhappy about your life? The next day, Homer went to Ned's store again and he saw that he didn't have any customers, but Ned was staying optimistic.
I think word of mouth is starting to spread.
Hey, I hear you validate parking tickets without purchase.
I think the wrong word of mouth is spreading. Later, while Homer was at Moe's, Moe asked him how was Ned's new store going, and Homer said it's lousy and that he just sits there all day. Moe asked Homer what does he sell, and then he started struggling with the right-handed corkscrew.
Well, actually, Mo, I don't know.
He had an opportunity right there and he just ignored it. He really needs a few lessons from Flanders. The next day, Homer was in Mr. Burns' office and he saw him struggling to open a can of cat food because he was left-handed also.
Come on, Homer. Tell him about the store. I'm dying out here.
Sorry, Flanders.
I'm starting to lose all respect I got for you, Homer. When he came home from work, Homer saw that Ned was selling his property outside on his lawn. And instead of trying to help, he gloated some more.
$20, take it or leave it.
Oh, Homer, be reasonable.
Sorry, no cash for Neddy.
Awful, awful man. In the end, Ned sold all of his furniture for $75. The next day, a man rang the Simpsons doorbell and he said that they need to pay their bills.
We've been very patient with you, Mr. Flanders.
Oh, poor Ned. Homer realizes Ned is in debt and...
Damn right-handed ledges. Can't write in these things.
Well, there's a store.
So many wasted opportunities. That night, Homer went to Ned's house, but he and his family were all packed up in a car, ready to leave. They lost the house, and they're now forced to move to Capital City to live with Ned's sister.
Ever since that barbecue, nothing's gone right. It's like there's been a curse on me.
Well, there has been a curse on you. Homer tells Ned to go to the store tomorrow, and maybe his luck will change. Then he went home and made some calls. The next morning, Ned was going to the store when...
Hurry, Neddy, hurry! Oh, golly, it's a miracle!
All right, Homer, you can live.
Homer, affordable tract housing made us neighbors, but you made us friends.
And Ned Flanders.
But not that much later, Homer actually began to like Flanders. Homer and Ned become good friends. But the roles reverse, and now Homer is annoying Flanders. Homer Loves Flanders opens with Homer not being able to get tickets for a big Springfield versus Shelbyville game, but Flanders got them, so he invited Homer to join him. Homer prayed to God to get him tickets to the game.
Hi-ho, neighbor. Want to go to the game with me?
Why do you mock me, oh Lord?
I think God just answered your prayers, but okay. Call it mocking. Eventually, Homer agreed to go with Ned, but he was embarrassed to be seen with him, so he made Ned duck when they passed Lenny and Carl.
Hey, look, Homer's got one of those robot cars.
One of those American robot cars.
That's really mean. Ned got snacks for himself and Homer said that he should pay his share, but Ned told him to relax because he's his guest.
Ooh, you brought me a nacho hat. Thanks, Ned.
Okay, so far so good. They're getting along. The Springfield team wins, and Homer stays after the game to try and get an autograph from any player. But it turns out he didn't have to try so hard because one of the players knows Ned. The player told Ned he wants to give him the game ball because he helped him so much, but Ned said,
Homer Simpson here is just about the biggest Atom fan that's ever graced God's green earth.
Ned says that Homer would probably enjoy it more than him and gives it to Homer. Homer was shocked that Ned would do such a thing for him.
This is about the nicest thing anyone's ever done for me.
Be sure to remember that the next time you're rude to him. The next day, Ned invited Homer to come over and try out the new pool table.
Dad and Ned Flanders Friends? What's next? A's on Bart's report card?
That's an accurate but cruel joke. Homer and Ned start spending more and more time together, and Homer starts neglecting his family over it.
Honey, I'm so glad you're home.
Can't talk, see Flanders later, sec.
Gee, Homer, Ned Flanders over sex. You really have changed. But Homer wasn't realizing that he was actually imposing quite a lot.
Homer, I'd love to chitty-chat, but tonight's the night I do my charity work.
Homer tells Ned that a judge made him do charity work as well. I don't think Ned's doing that because a judge made him do it. Marge told Homer that it's nice that he's been spending time with Ned, but his family needs him too.
You've hated Ned for years. In fact, you wanted to bash his head in with a pipe.
That was you!
Homer, you delusional man. Homer says he wants the two families to take a trip this weekend so they can get to know each other better, which Bart wholeheartedly disagrees with. Lisa tells Bart that every week something odd happens to their family, so her advice is to just ride it out and...
By next week, we'll be back to where we started from, ready for another wacky adventure.
Breaking the fourth wall, I see. The weekend couldn't have gone more horribly, and Ned kept getting more and more annoyed at Homer.
Oh, Lord, please give me the strength to endure Homer Simpson's friendship.
Ned's boat, somehow, by Homer's hand most certainly, flew straight into Ned's car.
Your car. Boy, what are the odds, huh?
Ned, you better keep praying. That night, Ned had a dream about killing Homer, and he woke up screaming.
What's the matter, Ned?
I think I hate Homer Simpson.
You think? The next morning, Homer came over to ask Ned, what are they doing today? And Ned said they're going to visit Grandma Flanders, but just the Flanders family.
Oh, okay.
That's very creepy, Homer. Ned realized he just lied in front of his kids, and he tried to explain.
To keep from hurting someone's feelings, we have to say things that aren't exactly...
Lies made baby Jesus cry.
Yeah, Ned, you just made baby Jesus cry. Homer went over to Ned's house to see if he could hang out, and Ned just busted out of his garage trying to escape.
I guess he didn't see me.
We did it! We got rid of...
But Chief Wiggum pulled him over and busted him for being on drugs.
Ned Flanders, I never would have imagined.
Oh, and in front of the whole church. The next Sunday, Ned couldn't stand to go to church, but when they came in, Homer invited them to sit together. Reverend Lovejoy first had to say a few words about Homer's good deeds lately, and then they began to pray. But Homer's loud breathing really ticked Ned off.
Stop it! Breathe through your damn mouth!
Oh.
Ned began to yell about how annoying Homer is, but then everyone turned against him.
How dare you talk about Ned Flanders like that? He's a wonderful, kind, caring man.
Can someone check on Homer? Because I can't believe those words are coming out of his mouth.
If everyone here were like Ned Flanders, there'd be no need for heaven. We'd already be there.
I think I'm gonna faint. Everybody apologized to Ned, and then Ned came up to Homer to apologize to him.
You really are You're a true friend.
Right back at you, buddy.
But even though Ned lashed out at Homer, Homer decided to help him once again and make his life a bit more unpredictable. Homer takes Ned to Vegas, and they marry waitresses from the casino. Viva Ned Flanders opens with people finding out that Ned is actually 60 years old. And this raised eyebrows, but not in the way you might think.
Geez, Flanders, you're 60 years old and you haven't lived a day in your life.
Well, a life following rules and norms isn't a life not lived. But this really made Ned think, and he didn't understand why people were making fun of him for the way he chooses to live. Ned tells him that he's happy to stick with his plain white bread.
Thank you very much. Maybe with a
Glass of water on the side for dipping.
That sounds disgusting.
Am I that pre-diddly-ictable?
Yes, you darn diddly are. The next day, Ned was looking at Homer and how he lives carelessly, and he decided to ask him for help.
Well. So Flawless Flanders needs help from Stinky Pants Simpson.
Calling yourself Stinky Pants does not make you sound cool, Homer. Homer and Ned take a drive, and Ned asks Homer to give him some topic sentences so he can get the picture. And Homer just took his notebook and threw it out.
That's your problem. You're living up here. You gotta live down here, in the impulse zone.
I thought he was gonna point to somewhere more south. Homer decides to take Ned to Las Vegas for a little gambling.
It's going on 8:30. I better call Maud and tell her where I am.
Homer told Ned that he already called Maud from the gas station.
Thanks, buddy.
Sucker.
Ned's gonna have some explaining to do when he gets back.
Oh, the lights, the noise, The letter X, it's all designed to inflame the senses. I'm overstimulated.
Ned, that's the average life nowadays. Homer takes Ned to a casino and Ned tells him he can't gamble.
Games of chance are strictly forbidden by Deuteronomy 7.
7, eh?
And of course, 7 is a winner.
The Bible's finally pulling its weight. Got any more holy numbers?
Ned said that gambling just doesn't feel right to him.
Oh, Lord. What should I do?
Gaming.
What?
It means gambling.
Well, if God said so. Homer took Ned for a drink, and Ned asked him, how does he silence the little voice that tells him to think?
You mean Lisa?
Oh, no, I mean common sense.
Oh, that. That can be treated with our good friend alcohol.
Good. Numb all sense of morality. Homer decided to get Ned plastered, and they just kept ordering drinks. The next morning, Ned woke up and realized he got drunk and actually had an eventful night.
I have a pounding headache. My mouth tastes like vomit, and I don't remember a thing.
Welcome to my world.
But then the 2 waitresses came up to them.
Who are you?
Who am I? I'm Mrs. Ned Flanders.
Ned, you better not come home.
Hey, smooth move, Flanders.
And I'm Mrs. Homer Simpson.
Homer either. Homer and Ned didn't believe them at first, but then they showed them the tape.
I oakley, dokely, schmokely do.
I now pronounce you husbands and wives.
Well, it doesn't get more legal than that. Homer and Ned try to explain to the women that they're already married, but they don't care about that.
This is all your fault. You and your stupid program.
Blame me if you must, but don't ever speak ill of the program.
How are those 2 not connected in his mind?
Our husbands are trying to ditch us.
Someone dishonoring their marriage vows? Not in Las Vegas.
Now you're taking the moral high ground. Unfortunately, people stop them, and Homer and Ned can't escape.
What if we switched wives? Would that help?
For the last time? No!
They get beaten up, but while they were indisposed, the waitress found other guys and gave up on Ned and Homer.
Las Vegas doesn't care for out-of-towners. Take your money and go someplace else.
Sentence said never by no one. But since Ned got a taste for adventure, he never wanted to be anywhere near it again. Ned decides to open a theme park in honor of Maud's memory. I'm going to Praise Land opens with Ned realizing he hasn't even begun to move on from Maud after her passing. How did he come to this realization, you might ask? Well, for starters, his house is filled with pictures of Maud. And when he offered a girl he liked to spend the night at his place instead of a motel, he cut her hair to look just like Maud's in her sleep.
You're trying to make me look like your dead wife! No, I know this is a tad unseemly.
Ned, there's no getting out of this one. The Simpsons offer to go through Maud's things for Ned, since there's no way he'd go through them himself.
A lifetime of memories.
Homer, don't you have any respect?
Sure.
I mean, at some point, you just really gotta move on. But seeing that there's so much of Maud's stuff, Homer says,
Man, this is taking forever. I know how to speed things up.
oh no, that's just not humane. But something didn't get chopped up. Maud's old sketchbook. Ned flipped through it and saw sketches of a Christian-themed amusement park.
Praise Land?
That's actually pretty clever. Ned decides to build it with the help of the Simpsons and good people of Springfield who were kind enough to donate what they could. Soon enough, Ned was able to open Praise Land.
Well, Maud, your dream has finally come true.
But Maud's dream, or Ned's way of executing it, didn't really scream fun, didn't really scream anything. It was quite boring and uneventful.
A Bible park without beer? Now I've seen everything.
I bet Ned didn't account for the town's alcoholics. Soon everybody was leaving, and Ned didn't understand why.
I'm sorry, sweetheart. Oh, please don't look at me like that.
That's beyond creepy. But then Maud's mask flew into the air, and it was floating right in front of Maud's statue.
It's a miracle.
It's almost like she's alive again.
I wouldn't be so positive about that.
This is fantastic. I've never been so close to rubbing my eyes in disbelief.
Chalmers? Even you? But then the mask fell down, and Skinner said that apparently there's no phenomenon. There must be a rational explanation. But as he was saying that,
He's speaking in tongues.
Oh, knock it off, Seymour.
Agnes, I don't think he's pretending. Skinner said that he saw heaven, but it wasn't clouds and angels.
It was a golden elementary school with a teacher's lounge that stretched as far as the eye could see.
That's his version of heaven? At least it's not he and his mother.
Was I there?
No, it was heaven. My vision of heaven.
People start saying that this was the will of Maud, and then everyone started wishing for Maud to give them a vision. But Homer won't let this happen without something in return.
The power of Christ compels you to give Ned an extra $10.
All right.
Homer, no.
Ned says he can't exploit a divine manifestation.
Oh, why not? Everybody's doing it.
Unfortunately, he's not wrong. Bart tells Ned that he could donate the money to the local orphanage, so eventually Ned agrees. Rod and Ton ask Ned how come everyone's having visions, and he tells them that there's no explaining God's will. But then...
Stupid grill. Why won't you light? The gas is on full blast.
Lisa tells him that there must be a leak in the line, which made Ned think,
Oh no! This isn't a divine miracle. Everyone's just getting goofy from the gas.
So, Ned, you've been taking money from people in order to get them poisoned by gas. Ned goes to tell everybody that there's no miracle, but then he looked at the orphans and decided to call the gas company first. Ned tells Homer he needs to close Praiseland down, or someone could get hurt.
Could get hurt. Could. There's a chance they won't.
And there's a chance they'll start dropping dead. So, do you want to take a chance with that, Homer? Homer told Ned that Praiseland touched an entire town.
With its inspiring message and toxic super freakouts.
But then they saw orphans lighting candles over the leaking gas line, so they jumped on them.
Adults attacking orphans? I don't think Maud Flanders would approve of that.
Did any of them actually know Maud? So Ned was forced to close down Praiseland.
May the Lord have mercy on your gas-sniffing, orphan-beaten soul.
Christ be with you.
But the bone breaking from earlier wasn't the last time Homer prayed for Ned's job to tank. Guess he didn't learn anything. Homer ruins Ned's life by praying to God that Ned loses his job. Left Behind opens with Ned coming over to the Simpsons' house to tell Homer and Marge that his leftorium is out of business and that he doesn't know what to do. Marge says that Homer can help him get a job at the power plant, and Homer objects to it at first. But then he just tells Ned that he should call HR and they'll help him. Ned instantly gets a job, and now he and Homer are carpooling to work.
Look, Ned, we're just driving together. I don't want any idlies, diddlies.
That's gonna be one long drive. Since Ned is the new HR rep at the plant, he held a meeting about harassment in the workplace. Lenny and Carl immediately started making fun of Ned and called him a wuss, and they asked Homer if he helped him get a job. Homer said he only told him to call HR, and
you didn't put in a good word.
No!
You idiot! A recommendation from you would have sunk him for sure.
Well, what's so wrong with Ned? Except his religious extremism. Later, Ned saw Homer sleeping at work and he confronted him about it. And not only that, but he wanted to form a prayer circle during lunch.
If you pray at lunch, aren't you interrupting God's lunch?
Finally.
That night, Homer couldn't sleep because he was thinking of Ned.
Can't take it. I can't take it. Why can't he be like our neighbor on the other side who we never see?
Yeah, what's up with that guy? Then, to make matters worse, he started imagining Ned's mustache on everyone.
What's the matter, homie?
No.
That must be really disturbing to see. So, Homer had to go to his last resort, praying.
Could you please get him fired? I feel you. Thanks.
Oh, I reached him.
Yes, in the worst possible way. The next day, Flanders went to talk to Mr. Burns about how the company has never donated anything to charity. Instead of talking about it, Mr. Burns just let out his hounds.
You're fired.
Homer's prayers came true. Hope you're proud, Homer. Ned tried to get other jobs, but he failed, so he was now a single father without a job to support his family. Homer noticed that Ned was growing more irritated, and he began feeling bad for what he wished for. But then Marge remembered something Ned could do.
You should be what Jesus was.
A carpenter?
No.
Fisherman?
No.
Foot washer?
No.
Be more specific, Marge.
A teacher. I think you should be a teacher.
Like Jesus.
Well, that's an idea that should have come to everyone's minds earlier. But when Ned came to school, he was given Barts Class. Great start.
Simpson, take the kill shot.
Why me?
Prove your loyalty.
Peer pressure sure will get to you. Ned looked at Bart and told him that they've known each other for years, and
if you can fire that spitwad after our long relationship, I don't deserve to be a teacher.
And he spit.
Last lesson, kids. F is for foolish, and failure, and Flanders. You win.
Poor Ned. The Simpsons men really have a way of getting to him. Homer went to Moe's, and he said that he thinks he ruined Ned's life.
Join the club.
What are you doing here?
I come here for a G&T, gumball and talk.
There's something terribly wrong with the kid in a bar. The two of them decide to go and apologize to Flanders and try to get him back to teaching.
I think you could be a great teacher, almost as good as her.
But nobody is quite like Edna. Ned remembers that Edna never gave up, so neither will he. But how will he get the kids to respect him
Do people respect God? No, they fear him.
Facts. The next day, Ned came back to school and he told the kids to take their seats.
How you gonna make us?
I won't. The good Lord will.
And suddenly, the word behave appeared on the board.
Huh? The scariest thing is we don't have a class skeleton.
Classic El Barto. But I don't think there'd be the nice relationship they share today if Homer hadn't made Ned's life a living hell at some point. Ned decides to move away after Homer made the entire town laugh at him behind his back. Home Away from Homer opens with Ned deciding to rent out a room in his house so he can make some extra cash. And he rents it out to 2 foreign exchange students.
You can catch some Z's while you earn those degrees.
You rhyme like Snoopy Dog.
Well, they seem nice. But wait.
Katja, do you think anyone's watching?
If they are, they will see us explore our sexhood.
Oh, dear Lord. Bart and Milhouse continue watching, and they see Ned coming into the girls' room.
Flanders!
That's odd. I could have sworn I just heard someone shriek my name.
Is nobody gonna tell him what's happening under his roof? Bart and Milhouse found the cam girls funny, but then Homer came in to see what they were laughing about.
Scantily clad co-eds? Why, you little... You developido!
Honestly, for the first time, appropriate reaction from Homer. But then he saw Ned in the video and Bart tells him he doesn't even know what's going on.
Wait till I tell everyone about this. I'll feel important without drinking. That'll be weird.
That's actually so sad. I don't want to begin to think about it. Homer spreads the word around to everyone in town and they all start making fun of Ned for not noticing. But soon, Marge found out what Homer and Bart were watching and she dragged Homer over to Ned's to tell him what's going on.
You softcore sophomores took advantage of my trustful nature and sullied the internet.
He put it so nicely you wouldn't even notice that they did anything wrong. Ned kicked the girls out, but then the whole town came over to laugh at him, and he realized everyone knew and didn't tell him. Ned thinks that Homer is his only real friend, but...
Are you kidding? Homer's the one what wised us up to the sexy goings-on.
And the cat's out of the bag. Ned can't believe that Homer also betrayed him like that, and he decided to move his family to a different town where they'll be more accepted and appreciated.
Made in Humbleton, PA. I don't usually make big life decisions based on things stamped on things.
That's a good policy, no need to change it. Lisa told Homer that he doesn't even realize what he's done, and that he hurt the best friend and neighbor they have. So Homer went over to apologize, but then he saw a note from Ned.
He's gone, and it's all someone's fault.
Yes, yours. But Ned's new life wasn't as jolly as he had hoped. He got a job as a miniature figurine maker, but the job requested that he shaves his mustache.
My mustache has the right to life. It's my body and my choice.
That sounds hypocritical. Meanwhile, Homer was having troubles with the new neighbor, so he decided to pay Ned a visit and beg him to come back. Homer told him that he took a lot of stuff from him over the years, but there were just some things he could never take away.
Your kindness, your gentle spirit, and your infinite patience with a big dumb jerk like me.
At least he's aware of it. Ned decides to come back and he asks the new neighbor nicely for his house back, but he wouldn't give it to him. So Ned had to pull out the big guns. He told him that his check bounced, so legally, Ned still owns the house.
Yeah? Tell it to the Marines.
Wow, Ned's strong.
Oh! Why did you do that? I was begging for mercy!
I saw my advantage and I took it. That's what heroes do.
Do heroes always break into neighbors' houses? Homer and Ned get into a fist fight over ranch. The Very Hungry Caterpillars opens with the news of a caterpillar outbreak hitting Springfield.
A sudden environmental catastrophe has rocked Springfield.
That's disgusting. So Springfield is in lockdown, and this means no getting out of the house, which is the best possible outcome if you ask Bart and Homer. But Lisa tells a different story.
This is the third once-in-a-millennium disaster this year.
Well, that's the world we're living in. To make matters worse, Maggie has a new addiction to ranch, and she won't eat anything without it.
It's locked down and we're out of ranch dressing. But if you try one of these, the dip fairy will come.
Gee, Maggie is violent. Marge tells Homer that Maggie won't eat anything, and he should go to Ned to see if he has any ranch.
I don't know what I'm more excited for, eternal bliss or finally getting to use all my rapture supplies.
Did he somehow know this was gonna happen or what? Homer starts picking things to bring home with him, and they get to the ranch.
Now give me the food that was meant to ensure the survival of your children.
Now that's not very nice, Homer. What do you say? Ned thought about what his life and his children's lives will look like if he just went along with Homer's demands, and he realized they'll starve if they let Homer take whatever he wants, whenever he wants.
That's all Ned will give you? Did you ask nicely?
If he asked at all, maybe he would get some more. Marge said that maybe she could ration the amount carefully. But then the news said that the lockdown was extended.
They extended the lockdown. This could go on for months, or forever, or longer.
And they're at a ranch. But as days passed, Marge was having more and more troubles with Maggie and her ranch obsession, and she looked over at Ned's house.
His kids don't know what it's like to live in a world without ranch. But getting angry won't help anything.
And then Maggie started scream crying.
Screw this! Tonight we're breaking into Ned's basement and cleaning that sucker out.
You know it's bad when Marge decides to break the rules. Homer and Marge break into Ned's basement while he was upstairs playing guitar to his boys. They started pouring the ranch into plastic bags when Homer knocked over a can and Ned heard him.
Whoever's down here stealing my supplies, the end of days is coming, but a little earlier for you.
Homer jumped to distract Ned from Marge so she could run away with the ranch.
He who steals from his neighbor shall reap the croquet mallet. A reading from the Book of Flanders.
Okay, the end is very near for Homer. The two of them start fighting, and it's probably the most intense, or first, actually, physical fight they ever had.
I'll die before I don't take what's yours!
Yes, we know.
If I don't make it, tell Maggie it was her fault!
I don't think she'll be very burdened with it. Ned smacks Homer over the head, and Homer loses his balance.
You want to dip? Let's dip.
Oh, he really is psychotic. Marge came back and told Ned to stop. She told him he's a wonderful man who's shown nothing but kindness to their family.
It's time I put the Christian back in extremist Christian end times prepper. My dear Homer, I'm so sorry.
Don't worry, he's just eating. But Ned's not the only good neighbor in need. Ned loses his home in a hurricane, so Homer helps rebuild it. Hurricane Neddy opens with a hurricane hitting Springfield, and everyone's getting ready for it to hit. Ned invited Homer and his family to join him in his bunker, but Homer said he's sure he'd be a third wheel.
Oh, no, sirree. We'd be happy as hens to have
I would make it my business to be a third wheel.
Okay, Homer, calm down. The Simpsons wait out the hurricane in their cellar, and Marge prayed really hard for God to spare them, and the hurricane stopped.
It just goes to show you that everything will work out if you have faith.
How do you explain that then?
It's all gone. Everything. Gone diddly on.
You can't tell me Ned doesn't have enough faith. Ned's house is completely demolished, but at least everyone in his family is alive. The unfortunate thing is they don't have insurance because Ned doesn't believe in it, since he considers it a form of gambling. Ned and his family went to the rescue center at a church, and Ned began praying to God.
I've done everything the Bible says, even the stuff that contradicts the other stuff.
Maybe some of it is a problem, but that's another story.
I want to yell out, but I just can't dang diddly do dang do damn diddly darn do it.
He's really losing it. The next day, Marge went to pick them up and bring them to their house for a surprise.
Oh, they rebuilt our house.
Oh, it's a miracle.
It sure is, since I don't remember any of them having any knowledge as to how to build a house. But Ned's surprise and relief didn't last long. When he went into the house, he saw it had many faults, and the fact that Homer said they didn't have all the parts or knowledge didn't really help.
Oh, something is definitely wrong with this hallway.
Come on in! It's your master bedroom!
So basically they made it an even bigger problem. Ned went out of the house to take a breath, but he just couldn't keep it inside anymore.
Ah, hell, diddly ding dong crap! Can't you morons do anything right?
And he's gone. Marge said that they all meant well and did the best they could.
Well, my family and I can't live in good intentions, Marge.
I'm on his side with this. But Ned didn't stop there. He went off on everyone, and finally he finished with Homer.
Homer, you are the worst human being I have ever met.
He doesn't seem to be fazed by that. Ned just got in a car and drove off straight to a mental hospital to commit himself.
Shall I show you to your room, or would you prefer to be dragged off kicking and screaming?
Ned says he'd like to go kicking and screaming. Okay, weirdo. But when a doctor heard Ned was committed, he went straight to the hospital to talk to him. Turns out he was his psychiatrist from when Ned was a boy, and he treated him for his aggressive behavior. But
the only problem with the treatment was that it worked too well. You became unable to express any anger.
The doctor explained that he could only respond with a string of nonsensical jabbering. Makes sense if you ask me. The doc asked Ned if there was any person he can think of who makes him particularly angry.
Mental hospital? I don't know any Ned Flanders.
The sad truth is he really didn't know who they were talking about. Homer went to the hospital and his job was to make Ned confess to something he hates, but the script they gave him just wasn't working. But then Homer pulled out his own big guns.
You're afraid to be human.
Ned asked Homer why would he be afraid of that.
Because humans are obnoxious sometimes. Humans hate things.
Homer's actually right. Homer told Ned that there must be something he hates, and Ned said that he doesn't like the post office and the waiting in line, and also...
That and my parents. As he beatniks.
Well, Homer, you've done it again. So Ned's cured by the power of Homer. Don't let the irony get lost on you. But don't let Homer's one good deed per season fool you. He's actually really mean to Ned most of the time. Homer pits Bart against Todd so he could rub it in Ned's face. Dead Pudding Society opens with Ned inviting Homer in for a drink, but Homer couldn't handle the envy he felt. Ned's house was perfect, his wife was perfect, and his kids actually respect him. Homer started yelling at Ned to knock it off because he's been rubbing his life in his face the whole time.
You and your son like each other. Your wife's butt is higher than my wife's butt. You make me sick.
Gee, Homer, the first time you're in someone's house and you tell the man he makes you sick. Ned asks Homer politely to leave. That night, Homer was tossing and turning in bed, talking about how Ned made him mad. Meanwhile, Ned was doing the same thing, only he felt bad for kicking Homer out. Ned decides to write Homer a letter of apology, only for Homer to laugh and mock it as he read it in front of his family.
Neighbors forever. Oh no! Ned Flanders.
Marge says it's mean that they're making fun of Ned, and that she wished they were as close as the Flanders. Homer suggested that they should go mini-golf, and what do you know, they meet Ned there. They decide to play together, and Homer gets absolutely demolished. But then they see a competition, and the winner gets $50. Bart and Todd decide to enter, but Homer starts pushing Bart that he must win.
It's awfully good.
Oh yeah? Well, I think the fruit of my loins can beat the fruit of your loins.
That's very creepy. Bart starts having some anxiety over it because he's never won anything in his life.
This is the only time I'm ever going to say this. It is not okay to lose.
Sure, don't make it easier on your son. Homer puts a picture of Todd Flanders in Bart's room so he can look at it every day and concentrate on how much he hates him. Lisa sees Bart struggling, so she decides to help him by training his mind, not his body.
The basis of this game seems to be simple geometry.
You've actually found a practical use for geometry.
See, geometry isn't so bad. But Homer decides to make this even more interesting by placing a bet.
The father of the boy who doesn't win has to mow the lawn in his wife's Sunday dress.
And Ned agreed to this?
Good gravy, what have I done?
Now you're thinking about it. Now. The day of the competition comes around and the boys are ready, but the pressure is on.
Having never received any words of encouragement myself, I'm not sure how they're supposed to sound. I believe in you.
At least someone said it. The boys actually do pretty well on the competition, and they tie the entire time. Todd tells Bart his knees are shaking, but at least it builds character.
Who wants to build character? Let's quit.
Okay.
And just like that, they quit. They tell the judges they decided they're equally good, and they want to call it a draw. But this doesn't mean that Homer has given up on embarrassing Ned.
But neither. You have to do it too.
It's a small price to pay to see you humiliate yourself.
Homer, there's no sin worse than pride.
Kind of reminds me of my good old fraternity days.
Oh my God, he's enjoying it.
See? You didn't win anything at all. But besides the petty rivalry, Homer and Ned actually make a pretty good team. Homer and Ned become bounty hunters together. Sex, pies, and idiot scrapes starts with Homer becoming a bounty hunter, hunting down people who didn't show up on their bail hearing. But like Homer at any new job he takes on, he didn't really know what he was in for. He was chasing Snake Jailbird down the road and he backed him into an alley when Snake pulled a gun on him. He tried to talk him down, but he got confused by his own words.
Not shooting me now would be the biggest mistake of your life.
So, of course, Snake shot at him. But at the last moment,
Bulletproof glass.
Flanders?
Always there to save the day. The next day, Homer went by Ned's store to give him a thank you card and his share of the money for bringing in Snake.
Ned, I never thought I'd say this, but we make a great team.
Us? A team?
Ned, I'm just as shocked as you are. Homer suggests that they should be bounty hunters together.
Together we're nothing, but together we're the perfect bounty hunter.
Somehow that made perfect sense. Ned said he could use more money, but Homer had to promise him that everything will be done by the book. Homer and Ned officially started working together, and as Ned was thanking God for all the felons, and
also thank you for my partner Homer, who... Did you just taser my coffee?
Seems like something Homer would do. Turns out they really make a good team. But one fateful day, everything changed. They were on a stakeout waiting for Fat Tony, listening to music and eating pizza, when Fat Tony finally came out. They chased him down the street, but he got on a train and they lost him.
There's one thing he didn't count on. My reckless indifference to human life.
Ned asks God to have mercy and give Homer a stroke. Sometimes all of us are praying for that. Homer rams his car into the train and they catch Fat Tony.
Homer, you can't drive a car onto a subway. You need a special sticker just to bring a bike.
Ned asks Homer if he has no respect for the law. No, he does not. Ned gets angry because Homer promised him everything will be done by the book.
You know what your problem is? You haven't become as bad as the people we chase.
This partnership is over.
Well, it was good while it lasted. Ned went to quit as a bounty hunter, but the boss said he had one final job for him, a job Homer couldn't complete.
Homer?
Seems he never showed up in court on his St. Patrick's Day arrest.
Ned decided to take the job, so when Homer came back home, he was waiting for him.
I figured a good time to pick you up was when they were at Lisa's recital.
Homer is surprised that Ned guessed he would be there. Well, it doesn't take a genius. Homer started running away and Ned was following him close behind. I just don't know when either of them got so physically fit.
I loved you, man.
For the last few weeks, but most of the time I've known you, you've treated me like dirt.
Hey, Ned's got a point. Homer told Ned he holds too much resentment.
I forgave you for accidentally killing my wife.
Yeah, but you hold on to the big things.
And that's a small thing, how?
The point is, the more I got to know you, the more I got to like you.
Ned told Homer that he likes him too, but Homer broke the law, so Ned's gotta bring him in. But then he slipped, and Homer was thinking a while before he decided to help him.
Thanks, but what are you holding on to?
Well, I'm...
That wasn't very thought through now, was it? They fell into concrete and they couldn't get out. The police came at night after Ned finished reciting the entire Old Testament to Homer.
Simpson, we're gonna put you away for a long, long time.
Make it life and you've got a deal.
If you enjoyed today's video, make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment with your favorite fight between Ned and Homer below.